At my promotion party, my family showed up uninvited with a lawyer. They threw a family trust contract in my face, demanding control over my income, career, and even my future children. They called it just a formality and had the nerve to say, "You owe us every damn thing you have." This after publicly humiliating me at my lowest point last year, calling me a useless piece of trash. I laughed in their faces, and then I did what they'd feared for years. Now they're bombarded me with 50 messages. "Please talk to us, we're begging." Okay, so I actually don't post here much, but this is so next level. I honestly need to just get it out somewhere, and IDK, maybe people will have thoughts, or maybe I just need to vent before I decide how nuclear I'm gonna go. This is long, but I'll try to keep it moving. Also, yeah, I write messy. That's just how my brain is right now. LOL. So quick context. I'm Finn. I'm 27. I live in a kind of boring apartment out in the burbs. Nothing dramatic. I have a job, not like super high-powered or anything crazy, but this year, I finally got a promotion after a lot of BS. Don't ask, it's boring. I'm not rich, but for my family, I'm basically the one who can save everyone, apparently. My parents are those people who always have a new plan, but none of them ever work, and my siblings just kind of float. I'm the oldest, so I get all the pressure and the expectations like it's a birthright. My family's always had this thing where if you're not making money or doing something impressive, whatever that means to them, you're basically invisible, or worse, you get roasted nonstop. Last year, I lost my job and was barely getting by, and they literally called me a useless piece of trash at a family get-together. Not even exaggerating, my dad actually said it to my face, and my mom just stood there nodding. My sister, Sherry, just scrolled her phone. My brother, Brian, was the only one who looked even slightly embarrassed, but he still didn't say anything. I guess I just got used to being the one they dump on, until I had money again. Anyway, fast forward to now. I finally got this promotion. Nothing huge, but it's the first time in a while I actually felt kind of proud of myself. So I decided to do something chill, backyard thing at my friend Benjamin's place. Just some food, music, a few people I actually like. I didn't invite my family, like at all. Not out of spite. Well, maybe a little, but mostly because I just didn't want to deal with them. It was supposed to be low-key. So here's where it gets weird. I'm standing outside talking to Benjamin and a couple other people when I see this random black SUV pull up. It's not even someone I recognize at first. Then I see my mom get out, in this weirdly formal outfit like she's going to a graduation or something. My dad's right behind her, wearing a blazer, and he never wears a blazer. Sherry's trailing along, looking annoyed, and Brian's just staring at the ground. And then, out steps this guy I vaguely remember from years ago, Mr. Easton, who used to show up at family holidays, always giving advice about money and never really listening to anyone. Turns out he's a lawyer now. Or at least that's what my mom says every time someone fights over grandma's will. Right off the bat, it's so awkward. Benjamin comes over like, "Hey, didn't know your family was coming?" And I just kind of shrug, because I didn't either. My mom barely says hi, just gives me a hug that feels like a job interview, then starts complimenting the house, the food, asking who paid for what. My dad starts talking about the grill like he's not even there for me. Sherry's already on her phone, posting pics of the party she wasn't invited to. I kind of laugh it off, thinking, maybe they just wanted to say congrats and then leave. But then Easton the lawyer starts setting up paperwork on the patio table, like literal folders and pens. Everyone else is staring. It gets super tense, super fast. My mom tries to do this fake smile thing and says they have a little surprise for me, just a quick family thing before they go. My dad says it's no big deal, and I should just sign so we can all move on and celebrate. Easton slides this thick packet across the table, all these tabs and highlighted sections like some kind of legal scavenger hunt. I pick it up and flip through, and it's honestly wild. Like, I'm reading lines about how my future earnings and potential legacy assets are to be managed by the family trust, with my parents as trustees. There's literally a section about future children's educational pathways being under the trust's guidance. I'm not even dating anyone, LMAO. I keep waiting for someone to say it's a joke, but nope. My mom starts getting all emotional about how we built you, and you owe us everything you have. You know that, right? And my dad, who hasn't even looked me in the eye all year, suddenly cares enough to say I wouldn't be anywhere without them. Easton just sits there with this smug little smile, tapping his pen. Sherry's recording on her phone, which is just unreal. Brian actually looks up and says, "I don't know. Maybe it's not a terrible idea," which kind of stings Uncle. I just start laughing, like out loud, because what else am I supposed to do? I tell them they can't be serious, and my mom starts crying, saying I'm being ungrateful and making a scene. My dad sort of leans in, not yelling, but just doing that voice he does when he wants to make me feel small. He says, "You're nothing without us, don't forget that." I look up and it's like half the party's watching now. Benjamin is standing with his arms crossed, like he's ready to step in but doesn't want to make it worse. Someone else tries to lighten the mood, but my mom just ignores them. Easton starts talking about legal obligation and how this is standard for high-potential families. I ask him if he's ever actually read this contract, and he just shrugs, says it's not about me, it's about protecting the family. My hands are shaking at this point, not because I'm scared, but just furious. I know they're only doing this now because I'm finally in a good spot again, and they want a piece of it before I can do anything for myself. They don't care about me. If I had nothing, they'd still be calling me trash. So I push the contract back at East, maybe harder than I intended, and it slides off the table. My dad stands up so fast the chair tips back. He grabs my arm. Not hard, but enough to make a point. I tell him to let go and he does, but not before saying I'm making a huge mistake. My mom's actually sobbing now. Sherry's filming her own mother crying, which is insane, and Brian's just staring at the ground again. I tell them if they want to talk they can call me like normal people, but I'm not signing anything. Some of the guests start drifting away and Benjamin comes over, says maybe it's best if we take a break. My dad slams the gate on his way out. Sherry's still recording, and Easton gathers up the papers like he just lost a poker hand. My mom sits in the car and refuses to look at me. Brian hangs back, almost says something, then just leaves. After they're gone, people are whispering and someone asks if I'm okay. I just shrug. Angel, I'm pissed, but honestly, I'm also kind of relieved it happened in front of everyone. Now at least I don't have to pretend they're normal. Benjamin offers to let me crash in the spare room, but I just want to go home. I get back to my apartment and already my phone has, no joke, like 20 unread texts and a bunch of missed calls. My family group chat is blowing up. My mom's sent at least 3 guilt trip voicemails. My dad's sent a pic of the contract with final offer, typed under it, like it's a Craigslist deal. Even Sherry sent a video of the whole thing to our cousin Sarah, who's already texting me asking what the hell happened. I'm not even tired, just angry. I don't care if they're upset. They wanted to make me feel like garbage when I was down, and now they want to own everything I've worked for. Nah. I'm done being the one who fixes everything for them. If they want war, fine. I'll give them something to regret. I haven't answered any of them. Nagel? Part of me wants to see how long it takes for them to start begging, but I already know what I'm going to do next. They just don't realize who they're dealing with now. Update 1. Alright, so I'm back, because honestly things just keep getting more unhinged. And NGL, this is more wild than I even expected. I wasn't actually going to post an update, felt kinda cringe, honestly. But after last night, yeah, I gotta. I thought the first round was bad, but this is a whole new level of petty and desperate. Fair warning, I'm not holding back and this is probably going to get long. Anyway, so after the whole family shows up with lawyer, tries to get me to sign my life away in front of my actual friends mess, I just went home and tried to ignore it. Figured if I waited them out, maybe they'd just leave me alone. Yeah, that didn't happen. I wake up the next morning and my phone's already lit up. Texts, missed calls, my mom leaving crying voicemails, my dad sending these weird final offer texts like he's negotiating for a used car. Sherry tagging me in a random Instagram story that's literally just a pic of the trust contract with a clown emoji on it. Thanks for that, I guess. Brian sent one text that just said, call me, and then nothing else. What actually set me off wasn't even all the calls. It was this dumb little thing. My banking app pinged me, saying my parents' mortgage autopay failed. Not because I didn't have the funds, but because they tried to bump up the payment without telling me. Like, they thought if they just adjusted the numbers, I'd either not notice or just accept it. Classic. So I called the bank, told them to freeze any changes to payments from my account, and set everything to manual. If they want money, they have to actually ask me for it now. And yeah, I fully realize I sound like a jerk here, but context. I've been covering half their mortgage for years because my dad got laid off and never really bounced back. Never once got a thank you. Just more pressure. More, you owe us. More side comments to extended family like I'm some kind of trust fund baby. They act like I should be grateful for the opportunity to help them. It's never enough. So I started thinking, if they want to play hardball with contracts and lawyers, fine. I can do paperwork too. I pulled up the docs for the house because, plot twist that isn't even a twist, just family drama, my name is actually on the deed. Long story, but when they were about to lose the house a few years back, I co-signed and paid off a chunk of the back debt. I never really thought about it until now, but if they're gonna try to control my life, why shouldn't I put the same squeeze on them? I emailed our family's old lawyer, not Easton, someone who actually just does boring stuff like property transfer, and asked what my options, not trying to evict anyone, just wanted to know if I could force a buyout or, if I had to, list my share for sale. Turns out I technically can. Even just threatening to do it would mess up their credit and force them to refinance. So, yeah, I let that info sit for a day before doing anything. Meanwhile, Sherry is blowing up my phone, half threatening, half begging. Classic sibling move. She's all, "You're ruining everything." And then, "Please just talk to mom, she's not eating." I texted back, "When you all tried to humiliate me, you weren't worried about how I felt." She leaves me on read. Brian calls, I pick up. He starts in about how this is all just a misunderstanding and Dad was just stressed. I ask if he actually read the contract. He says he only skimmed it. I tell him to read the part about future children and lifetime asset management. He just says, "Oh," then hangs up. So then my dad tries to come by my place. Doesn't call first, just shows up. I watch him from the peephole, knocking and mumbling to himself. Then when I don't answer, he slaps the door and leaves. Not exactly subtle. 20 minutes later, I get a long text about how if I keep pushing, I'll regret it. Yeah, okay. I decide it's time to actually do something instead of just react. First thing, I contact the bank and remove myself from all joint accounts. No more emergency transfers, no more bailing anyone out. I also freeze my contributions to any family bills, not just the mortgage. I've been paying for Brian's car insurance and Sherry's streaming services for like 2 years. I cancel the auto pays. Send Brian a text saying, "Sort your own insurance, I'm out." Sherry just gets a notification from the app. She responds with about 10 straight angry texts, all caps, then nothing for hours. Then I dig out the paperwork for the family investment club. Don't laugh. It's just a dumb thing my dad set up to make everyone feel like they were part of something big. Technically, I'm the only one who's actually contributed anything in the last 3. I call the brokerage and have my name removed from anything joint. Then transfer my chunk out. I text my dad and let him know, just so he can't say I blindsided him. He responds with a bunch of stuff I won't repeat here, but let's just say it's not happy birthday. For the house, I send my parents an email, seizing the lawyer saying either buy out my half or we start the process to sell. I don't want to take the house from them, but I'm not going to let them use it as leverage over me anymore. My mom calls crying, says I'm breaking up the family. I say if they wanted to keep the family together, maybe don't ambush me with a contract at my own party. She hangs up. Then the extended family starts getting involved, which, if you have a big family you know, is just a nightmare. Cousin Sarah texts to say my mom called everyone, saying I'm trying to make them homeless. My Aunt Cynthia leaves this long Facebook post about children these days. That's clearly about me but never mentions me by name. I get like 5 DMs from random cousins trying to mediate. I send one of them a photo of the contract and say, "Read it, then get back to me." She just sends back a yikes. Meanwhile, Easton, the lawyer guy, emails me with this weirdly formal message about reconsidering the trust for the good of the family. I reply with a single line. I have my own lawyer now, and I'm not signing anything. He tries to call. I don't pick up. Next day, I get a cease and desist letter from him, which is basically just a template threatening legal action if I continue to disrupt family assets. My lawyer buddy looks at it and just laughs. I forward the letter to my parents and say, "Your move. It's not like I'm thrilled to be doing any of this, but I'm not backing down. I spent years letting them walk all over me because I thought that's just what you do for family. But if they're going to treat me like an ATM, I'm going to make it cost them. I'm not even sure they really thought I'd go through with any of this. TBH, I think they thought I'd cave as soon as my mom cried or my dad yelled. Not this time." Last thing, my parents actually showed up at Benjamin's place, the one who hosted my party, and tried to talk to him, like he was going to convince me to back off. Benjamin texted me after, said they were polite but super intense, kept saying how I was going through something and needed guidance. Benjamin just told them to text me. My dad slammed the gate on his way out. So now, I'm sitting here with a growing pile of paperwork, my phone blowing up, and my family acting like I'm personally burning down the house. I know it's going to get worse before it gets better, but honestly, I don't care. They wanted to play hardball. Now they can see how it feels. If anyone's got advice for surviving a family meltdown, let me know. But I'm not looking to make up or heal anything. I'm not even mad anymore, just tired of being their punching bag. Next steps are already in motion. They wanted control? Let's see how they handle losing it. We'll update if when things go full meltdown. And chill, I kinda hope they do. Update 2. So, this is prob the wildest week of my life, not even exaggerating. And I'm not even sure what normal is supposed to look like anymore. It's like every day is a new level of unhinged. NGL, I almost didn't update because I'm so fried. But the stuff my family's pulling, yeah, this is the kind of thing you tell strangers on Reddit because nobody in real life would believe it. Anyway, here goes. First thing that was off, the group chat didn't just stop after the house/email/auto pay drama. It got way worse. Like, they started messaging me on every single platform I have, even old ones I forgot about. I open my phone and there's a WhatsApp ping from my mom. Then an old Facebook message from my dad, which he never used. Sherry sending me DMs on TikTok. Even a random LinkedIn message from Brian with just please call. Like, what am I even supposed to do with that? It's not normal. They're cycling between angry and desperate, sometimes in the same message. One minute my mom's saying I'm destroying the family. The next she's sending, we love you, we just want to help, voice notes. My dad's moved on to threats, then slides back to guilt trips, then more threats. Sherry is posting vague memes about fake family, then tagging me in old photos. Brian stopped calling and just sends one-word texts now, like bro or dude. The real kicker was when my parents started getting creative. So their mortgage payment is coming up and now they're actually short because I yanked my half and the bank locked down the account like I asked. I keep getting notifications from the bank about pending inquiries and contact attempts. My dad starts texting about, you're making us look bad with the bank, as if that's my problem. And I guess my mom called the bank and tried to say I was mentally unfit to handle my share, which is just, wow. The bank called me about it. I clarified everything. And the rep kind of sounded like he'd heard this before. He just said, if anyone tries to change things again, they'll need full legal docs. So now my family's fighting with each other too. Sherry is mad that I pulled the plug on the streaming stuff. She legit said, how am I supposed to have friends over now? Like I ruined her whole life. Brian's insurance got canceled because I stopped paying. He texted me, why would you do this? I thought you said you'd always have my back. I told him, you're 24, you can figure it out. He left me on read. The group chat is basically just them arguing with each other now half the time. My mom's saying I've forced them into crisis mode. My dad's blaming everyone. Sherry is spamming emoji. Brian just logs off. It's honestly a mess. I muted it but kept checking every hour just to see if they'd finally cool off. Spoiler, they didn't. Couple days in, my dad actually comes to my apartment again. This time, he's banging on the door and yelling through it. I tell him to go home. He won't leave. So I text the building manager, who already knows the deal from last time, and they come up and tell him to leave. He slaps the door and stomps off. Neighbors saw, and now I get the side eye in the elevator. Fun. After that, Sherry tries to pull the surprise visit thing at my place too. I hear her voice in the hallway, arguing with someone. Then she pushes past a neighbor and knocks like 5 times in a row. I open the door just a crack. She tries to push her way in. I hold the door with my foot and tell her to chill. She says she just wants to talk. I say I'm not doing this. She starts crying and calls me a selfish jerk and storms off, slamming the stairwell door so loud I hear it from inside my apartment. Next day, I go to get groceries and see Brian sitting in his car out front. He gets out, walks over, says he just wants to talk. I say, now you want to talk? Where were you when they called me trash last year? He says it's not fair. He was just trying to keep the peace. I shrug. Tell him to keep the peace with them, not me, and walk off. He doesn't follow. Meanwhile, my phone is just a disaster. I've got text after text, missed calls, emails, even a handwritten note under my door at one point. No idea who actually left it, probably my mom. They're all variations of the same thing. I'm ruining the family. I'm going to regret it, or please, just talk to us. We need you. My dad says I'm breaking the chain, whatever that means. The lawyer, East 0N, is still in the mix, but now he's just sending these half-baked threats. I got a letter in the mail that looked official, but basically just said, please reconsider for the good of the family. I tossed it. My actual lawyer friend, not family, says there's nothing they can do unless I actually break something legal, which I'm not. I'm just enforcing boundaries, and they're not used to that. Even Benjamin, my friend who threw the party, texts me like, dude, your parents showed up here again looking for you. What's going on? I tell him just to ignore them. He says okay, but I can tell he's weirded out by the whole thing. I guess I am too, TBH, but I'm not going to let that stop me. The worst was probably last night, when my mom called crying. I picked up because I was tired of the notifications and thought maybe she'd finally just say sorry or something. Nope. She just says, you don't know what you're doing. You're tearing us apart. You need to fix this. I said, I'm not fixing anything. I'm just not letting you run my life. She sobs, then hangs up. IDK, maybe this is what happens when you stop being the fixer in a family like this. I'm not saying I did everything right, and yeah, part of me wonders if I should have just ignored them and let it fade. But every time I see that contract in my inbox, I remember what they said when I was broke. They only care when there's something in it for them. I'm done playing the nice guy. So now, they're officially panicking. Mortgage overdue? Car insurance gone? Streaming canceled? Investment club money pulled. And my name's still on the house, so they can't even refinance without me. My dad's calling every hour. My mom's eyes sending guilt trip emails. Sherry's subtweeting. Brian's ghosting everyone. I'm not sure what's next. Feels like we're not even close to the bottom yet. And I know the next family thing, if there even is one, is going to be a disaster. But I'm not stopping. If they want to see what it's like when I'm not the doormat, they're going to get the full experience. Next step, I guess, is showing up in person and making them actually face what they've done. I'm not looking forward to it, but it's got to happen. I want them to see, in real life, what it looks like when their golden ticket punches back. We'll update. Trust, it's only getting messier from here. Final update. Okay, so I guess this is going to be my last update on this whole trash fire, unless something actually explodes. And TBH wouldn't even be shocked at this point. I honestly thought it couldn't get any messier than last week. Wrong. If you ever wonder what happens when you take away every bit of power from people who only ever wanted to control you, just read this. So it started weird, like always. I woke up to the usual. Phone blowing up, unread messages from every family member, my mom's number popping up every hour, dad's number too, then Sherry's. Even Brian, who was still ghosting, suddenly sent a one-liner like, "You're going too far." But what actually caught my eye was a message from the lawyer, East 0N, that just said, "You need to come to the house." Not a threat, not a demand, just that. Kinda threw me off, NGL. So I decide I'm done dragging this out. I pick a time, text the group, "I'll be there in an hour." No one answers, which is a first. I get in my car and the whole drive. I'm half expecting the house to be empty or locked up, or maybe a total circus with IDK, the local church group holding hands on the lawn or something. It's not that, but it's close. I pull up and the first thing I see is my dad's old recliner, like actually out on the front yard. Then another chair. Then the coffee table. All just dumped there, not even in a pile, just scattered. It's honestly ridiculous. My dad's out there, shirtless, pacing around and yelling into his phone. I can hear him from the curb, something about how I'm tearing the family apart. Neighbors peeking through their blinds. My mom is sitting on the grass, dress still on from last night, just crying. Sherry's standing in the driveway, arms folded, looking like she's about to bolt. Brian's nowhere. I get out and my dad spots me. He throws his phone at the porch, misses, starts yelling before I even get to the sidewalk. He's in full meltdown mode, saying I ruined everything, screaming about how he built this house and I'm trying to take it from him. He starts kicking at the furniture, then tries to block the walkway, arms out, yelling that I'm not welcome here. I tell him I'm only here for the paperwork. Nothing else? He shoves me. Not hard, but enough to make it clear he's not playing. I don't move. My mom's sobbing, saying, "Please just sit and talk, we're family. You're all we have." I tell her I already tried talking. "You just wanted me to sign away my life." She grabs my hand, tries to pull me down next to her, but I shake her off. Sherry's hovering by the driveway, starts yelling at both of us to stop it, then turns and kicks the side of the mailbox. She slams the car door and sits in the passenger seat, blasting music through her earbuds loud enough that I can actually hear the bass. She's not helping. Neighbors are watching. One of them, Ms. Elizabeth, is actually out on her porch, pretending to water her plants, but obviously just taking it all in. She waves when I look over, then looks away quick. I don't even care anymore, so I go inside. The living room is trashed. Half the furniture's outside, the rest is just scattered, and there's this stack of envelopes on the table. Dad barges in behind me, slams the door, says I better not take another thing from them. I grab the paperwork, property docs, bank stuff, all the things the lawyer said I needed to move forward with the buyout or sale. I tell them, last chance, you want to buy my half, do it now. If not, it goes on the market. My dad tries to rip the folder out of my hand. I pull back, he swings, and it just glances off my shoulder. I don't even react. I'm so done. My mom comes in, begging again. She says they're losing everything, that if I cared at all, I'd stop. I tell her, if you cared, you wouldn't have tried to own me. Sherry's back in the doorway, says I'm a monster. I look at her, say, this is what happens when you treat people like garbage. She slaps the doorframe and storms out, slamming the door. My dad follows her, still yelling. I sit at the table, start sorting the paperwork. Mom's still crying, just repeating, please, please, over and over. I ignore her. I text my lawyer, tell him I have everything, ready to move forward. I walk out past my dad throwing a chair into the street. Neighbors definitely filming now. My mom's collapsed on the lawn. Sherry's in the car with her head down. Dad's still raging. I get in my car and my phone starts buzzing before I even turn the key. First, it's Sherry, then my mom, then Dad. All the notifications start stacking up. Calls, voicemails, texts. I drive off and it doesn't stop. By the time I get back to my apartment, I have like 50 missed calls and more voicemails than I even want to check. I finally listen to one, and it's my mom, voice shaking, just begging. Please, please, we need you. Please just pick up. We'll do anything. Next one is my dad, screaming through tears. Next is Sherry, half crying, half cursing me out. I block their numbers, then unblock, then block again. Not because I want to talk, but because I want them to know I could. I want them to know I'm done. and they don't get to control me anymore. If that means they spiral, fine. They made this bed. I'm not crawling back. So yeah, that's where it's at. House is going on the market if they don't buy me out. I'm not paying another cent for them. I'm not fixing anything, not answering their messages. Let them beg. Let them rage. Let them see what it feels like to lose control for once. I used to feel bad about even thinking this way. Now, after all this, not even a little. They wanted everything. Now they get nothing. I hope they remember that next time they try to break someone down and call it family. Done.